loves me like you used to. Sometimes we're not ourselves. There's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. And I'll take some time, but I'll be alright. We're moving on. We're moving on. I know times are
Well, good afternoon and welcome into the penultimate round of action in the National League South Central Series at Dave Farrington Park. It's the home of Miramar Rangers and they are up against Selwyn from the South Island this afternoon. We already know who the two finalists will be, and indeed Miramar will come up against Wellington Olympic next week. But still work to do in the round-robin phase against Selwyn, who have struggled at times this season, and by their own admission, probably a year or two ahead of schedule playing at this level, but they have been worthy competitors in this South Central Series. As the teams make their way out onto the park, let's have a look first up at the visitors. A couple of players haven't been able to travel, couldn't get on the plane because of a no vaccination pass. But they're largely unchanged in terms of their starting 11. Look for the likes of Booth at the back to hold them together. Jamie Carradis to provide some impact out of midfield. And Dorian Grolt up front, perhaps to score a goal or two. Let's hear from their head coach, Chris Brown.
Well, Chris, a heavy 5-0 loss to the Phoenix last week. How have you prepared for this game against one of the top two teams?
Disappointing from us. I think that's probably the worst performance we've kind of put out on the pitch since coming into this. So we've just worked hard kind of on ourselves defensively, and then ways that we can now get back into a game and take it to Miramar.
Any changes to your team this week?
Yeah, quite a few changes. We've had with the vaccination passports. We've had quite a few who haven't been able to travel. So the first 11 is not too different to what it's been, but we've got a lot of young boys coming in to make up the numbers on the bench. So, it'll be a good experience for them.
Final game of the series for you. What are the key learnings for you and the team?
We've taken loads from it. Just the extra intensity that you need, that's needed, the concentration, the organisation, the skill level that goes from minute 1 to minute 90. So, loads of learning, but the whole group's enjoyed it. It's been a great experience for us.
All the best this afternoon.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a big match for Chris Brown's side to finish their campaign up against a Miramar Rangers team that is in very, very good form. Come from behind win over Kashmir last week. Couple of changes with Zeb and Spain out. And they are pretty consistent, though, in terms of their selection. They have been right through the campaign. Let's hear from Scott Hales.
Scott, congratulations on making the final of this series. First, before that, a match against Selwyn. What are the key objectives today?
Control the game is the biggest objective, something that we've concentrated on all week. We don't want it to be a transitional game. We've got a huge game next week, so we need to make sure that we keep our momentum going. So 3 points is a must, but making sure that we prepare for next week properly, which means that our standards have to be exceptionally high today.
You've had two serious injuries in the last 2 weeks with George Akers and then Harris Zeb. Firstly, how are they, and what changes has that forced?
They're good. They're back in Wellington. They came to train in the other night and hobbled in on their crutches and casts. So obviously, wishing them a speedy recovery. Look, we've got a talented squad. I have depth. Training's been exciting all week because players know that there's spots up for grabs now. So it's been an interesting week, and the tempo and the standard's been really high. So today you'll see a few things happen today, preparing for next week, but not forgetting that today we respect Selwyn, so we need to make sure that we get the job done and hopefully finish top of this league.
All the best. Hope for a good game.
Thanks very much.
Scott Hales making it very clear that he expects nothing but the best from his team this afternoon. Ben O'Connell is the man in charge of this one, and we're just about ready to get things underway here at David Farrington Park, Miramar Rangers home ground, and it is the home side who will play from right to left in their traditional colours up against our visitors from Canterbury, this Selwyn side, who have only been in existence for a few short years and already emerging into this National League competition, albeit, of course, the South Central Series with the COVID pandemic having an impact on the Auckland teams and their ability to travel. Joining me in commentary is former All-White Hidamaya Nata. Harry, nice to have your company again. There's a little breeze blowing here. That's not unusual for Miramar, of course. They'll be used to this here at Dave Farrington Park. For Selwyn, though, just a thought on their inclusion in the competition. By their own admission, a couple of years ahead of where they wanted to be, but they've battled away, haven't they?
They have, actually, yes, and Chris Brown touched on it in his chat there with Fred pre-game, just looking to be organised, do the right things. It's a great experience for these players, and as you said, Andrew, possibly a year or two ahead of them at the moment, but nonetheless, players have thoroughly enjoyed playing at this level and this intensity, as he touched on, and hoping they'll be able to take a number of learnings away from the series so far.
So we've seen an early touch for Peter Tako Berima in goal for Selwyn, and there a touch for Zach Jones. As Miramar attacking down this left wing side with the impressive Ollie White, one of the standout performers in the competition. Now a chance for Owen Barnett, another youngster, 19 years of age. Out wide, the delivery comes in. It was a good ball played in as well. Hugo Delholm, but alert to the danger was Berima. It was the intent from Miramar already. We've seen them attack down both flanks, and Selwyn look like they're going to have their hands full here this afternoon. Ollie White again. Little step over. He's got all the tricks in the book as White. That's a clever ball as well for Barnett with the shot straight at the keeper. We're only 2 minutes into this, Harry. Miramar threatening already.
Yeah, and the two key players that we alluded to before, sort of Owen Barnett and Ollie White, again, been instrumental in everything in the opening couple of minutes that Miramar, particularly down this left-hand side. Barnett's a busy player. Ollie White, 4 goals this season already. And as Scott Howes pointed out before, this is although they're looking towards next week and using this game as preparation, they obviously want to make sure they're doing the right things and being as professional as they can, with not, you talked about giving Selwyn the respect that they deserve. But I'm sure players like Ollie White, Owen Barnett and Sam Nathan-Smith will be looking to push on and score, create goals as they have done for most of this season.
Well, Zach Jones, whilst you were talking, Harry, doing what Scott Hales was hoping his team wouldn't, and that was a little complacent with the pass played out of the back, invited Selwyn into half chance sort of an opportunity. They couldn't take it. Here's Barnett again out of Nelson via Scots College. This one rolled into the area, and a chance for Nathan Symes to chase that and try and get a touch, but again he's had to be alert early, has Peter Tako Berima. Liam Wood playing at left fullback for Miramar. Liam actually debuted for the Wellington Phoenix in the FFA Cup way back in 2017, Harry. He's 23 years of age now, but has had to go through some rehab with a very serious knee injury, so good to see Liam Wood back out there. He had close to 50 games for the Phoenix reserves before he was struck by that injury. Jaden Booth, who has operated in midfield as well as at the back for Selwyn, their skipper, and Wood will just shepherd that one out for the goal kick.
Can we link? Can we link? Can we link? Yes.
Sam Mason-Smith's coming back into midfield to get some early touches, so there's quite the versatility in this Miramar lineup. Players that can operate in different areas of the park. White, he loves being here though, in the opposition penalty area, and drives the cross with too much power. And the wind might hold that up enough to stay in play. Not for Miramar to maintain possession, just for Barnett to get there in time to give the free kick away. So Miramar, Harry, listed with Mason Smith and Nathan Symes up front, but already we've seen Ollie White, we've seen Delholm and Barnett, those midfielders getting forward, aren't they, and happy to go and operate in that attacking third.
Yeah, absolutely. The likes of Ollie White and Barnett like to sit and play between the lines. The players running with ball at feet, good skill, good technique. We saw the shot earlier from Owen Barnett from just outside the box. The likes of Delholm and Captain Dewa are in the middle of the park, just look to hold the midfield. Yeah,
Jones under pressure again, was composed enough on that occasion, and Midgley does well then to play that out beyond the high press of Selwyn. Here's Barnett again, a little step over. It's like a dual threat, isn't it? And he tried to find his other partner in that duo that I'm talking about in terms of Ollie White. They're very similar players. Midgley, hint of handball. And I think a late decision from the officials here. That's perhaps what they've seen.
You already can see when Barnett gets the ball, he's looking for Ollie White. On this left-hand side, Sam Mason-Smith, as you touched on, looking to drop deeper into midfield. They'll try and pull that central pairing of Jaden Booth and Luke Pritchard just out of position enough to create some room in behind. They love playing those balls in behind and getting around the wide defenders. Harris Seb, we've seen him a few times this season. Tremendous pace. Can play out wide. Loves to cut in as well. Obviously not on the pitch this afternoon.
Yeah, and nice to hear from Scott Hales that both Harrison and George Akers, of course, only a few weeks ago, that horrific injury for George led to a delay of close to an hour here at this ground in the derby against Wellington Olympic. So if you're watching or listening, fellas, hope you're both recovering well early in the rehab. But, no one likes to see a serious injury in the game. That one easily cut out by Wood, but left the pass a little bit short. Selwyn with a chance now. Played early, but really without any sort of a plan. And Jones able to watch that over the crossbar. Selwyn will have to be more accurate with any possession they get in the attacking third.
Yeah, Miramar love to keep the ball, particularly at the back. As you see Selwyn trying to press and forcing Zach Jones long, but Scott Hales won't be too happy. It was a sloppy ball from Liam Wood earlier on.
White, right under our noses. In amongst the scaffolding here, very tight surrounds here. In some ways, not dissimilar to Auckland City, Kiwitea Street, the home ground, very tight on the one side of the pitch. As that one searching for the outstretched boot of Dorian Grolt, couldn't quite get there. They're looking to be direct, aren't they, Selwyn? That looks to be the game plan, that if they do get the opportunity, they're going to go direct and do so pretty quickly.
Look, I think they realise they're not going to be able to compete in the from a midfield perspective in creating those pockets and those chances. So the more direct approach and moving the ball quickly into wide areas like this, I think will probably be their best plan for this afternoon.
Murdoch is good support. Wood is there, though, with a very important intervention to stop Daniel Eade. Turned it over again, though, Miramar. And Murdoch was there and looking dangerous. Referee, I think, has allowed the advantage to be played here. Murdoch might have been late with the challenge back in the penalty area. Poor touch there from the Frenchman, Delholm, but no trouble results. It's Taylor Shrivers, the 24-year-old, anchors this defensive unit. Mason Smith trying to feed Symes, and Selwyn just keeping that in, not allowing a corner to be the end result. A throw in for Miramar left wing side. It's Ollie White just rearranging the wardrobe, taking the GPS tracker off. Obviously was proving to be a little uncomfortable. Dewar. Back to Shrivers. Symes, first touch was a little lacking. And back they go to Berima. Booth, the captain. They also trying to play out if they can, Selwyn. Most teams these days, Harry, regardless of formation, regardless of perhaps the tactical approach once you get over the halfway line, most teams, their first option is to play out, isn't it? Try and keep possession. As White on the edge of the area. He's dangerous here, beats his man. Can he get it across? He does. It's cleared away though. He is going to be a constant threat throughout, Ollie White.
Yeah, well, they did it with ease, didn't they, Miramar? Some nice passing to leading up to that chance from Ollie White. I think this will be a consistent, a nice strike too from Ollie White. So this will be a consistent, I think, method for Miramar in terms of how they want to play and approach this game. Balls in from Delholme and Dewar in the middle of the park. Ollie White and Barnett already getting some space in that attacking third.
Jones under pressure. Grolt here back to goal. Now defended by Woods. Gets a foot in. Selwyn have had a couple of opportunities, especially down their right wing side. And Miramar are just a little shaky. There's another example of that. Pass rolled in for Murdoch. Cover is there though from Flynn O'Brien. These are good moments though. Might fancy pulling the trigger. Didn't really get anything powerful enough on the shot though, Jamie Carradis. And Miramar now just settle things down. And that's almost testament to Selwyn's good efforts there. They did go direct and long, Miramar. Symes, good vision. Finds Mason Smith into the area. The big striker goes down in the challenge though against Booth. Luke Mackay, nowhere to go. And has that even gone out over the sideline? No flag up, play on. Barnett. Little slide pass here for Ollie White. Ollie White, what a finish. No chance for Berima. Well, the goal was coming and very little surprise that it's those two players in frame. They have threatened through the opening few minutes and Ollie White smashes that into the roof of the net from close range.
Yeah, no chance for Berima with that one. Already had a couple of saves to make in this opening 13 minutes, but again, Ollie White combining with Owen Barnett. Fortunately, the player stopping for that one earlier on, Andrew, with thinking the ball had gone out. Referee's assistant flag remained down. And 5th goal of the season for Ollie White.
It's a clever finish too, it really is, because to find the roof of the net, often in those situations, goalkeepers just stay big and strikers hit their shot at the keeper and almost allow them to make a save. But really the power and the angle so high there was no chance for Berima.
Yeah, I think that'll just calm the, I wouldn't say nerves, so to speak, from Miramar, but they have been, you know, occasionally a little bit sloppy with their possession, particularly coming out from the back into the midfield. But as soon as they're getting to these areas, they're pinning Selwyn back on their heels.
And they do again now. Berima can't intercept the cross, and Barnett tried to find White in the penalty area. Midgley turns. Well covered there though by Grolt. Also chasing and working hard as Mackenzie Coe. Is the Frenchman Delholme scored one of the 2 goals in the win over Kashmir last week. White just rolls the studs over the ball and shoots straight at the keeper.
I mean, there's a pattern forming in the opening 15 minutes, isn't it? If Selwyn can't recognise that, Ollie White, Owen Barnett are the guys they need to get players on and really limit the space. Every time they're getting the ball on this left-hand side, it's acres of space in front of Ollie White or Owen Barnett. So, you know, Selwyn definitely have to either man up in the middle of the park or put pressure on the ball. The two sixes, so Del Holm and Dura in the middle for Miramar, just getting far too much time on the ball to distribute.
Here is Barnett. Here's the overlapping run of Midgley. It's, number 2 on number 2. In fact, it may well have been 12 there. Luke Pritchard across for Selwyn. It's risk and reward, isn't it, Harry? Because Selwyn may have to push higher up the park in order to defend Miramar more effectively. Try and stop the supply route before it even gets to the likes of White and Barnett.
I think the ball speed of Miramar is definitely going to, make it really difficult for Selwyn, because they do move the ball quick. They do get their key players into areas where they have got space, they have got room to move. It's particularly in the middle of the park that Selwyn really have to kind of limit that space. At times it just seems too easy for Miramar. See, they've turned possession back again, keeping the ball. That's better from the midfield.
Wood now with a chance to put his head up and run a couple of yards before releasing to White. Delholm. Midgley tries one. Not his best effort though. And whilst they've been largely settled, and those injuries that we've spoken about may have taken a couple of the options away from Scott Hales, they do have a final next week. And when you look at the bench, Harry, and see Andy Bevan there, see João Moriera, there's quality on the bench. So these guys that are given the chance here today, they've got to back the coach up, haven't they? They've got to say, I want to start in the grand final next week.
Absolutely. Look, I don't know the situation with Andy Bevan, whether he's struggling a little bit for fitness or under an injury cloud, but yeah, he's definitely a player that's probably one of the first on the team list, I think, if he's fully fit for Miramar. So yes, there are places under threat or competition for places, which is healthy for Scott Hales.
Selwyn somehow scrambled that away. Midgley, Barnett, he tries one towards the near post. Really was pretty well covered by Selwyn, but you sense the next 10 or 15 minutes are important here for the Southerners. They've got a battle. They have done right through the campaign, but they're coming off the back of a bit of a spanking, to be fair. 5-0 last week against the Wellington Phoenix Reserve. So in order to just keep their heads up and add a little confidence to the bravery they've shown this season, they've got to keep the scoreline at 1-0 down for as long as they can. White. Mason Smith was aware of the overlapping run. The back heel, though, did not find its intended target. Here's Mason Smith again. Barnett, he does have time to shoot, this time just over the bar. And again, Barima is at full strength. He is going to have a very busy afternoon in that Selwyn goal if the opening 20 minutes are anything to go by.
Here again, turning over possession. Selwyn, just a miscommunication between a couple of players in the middle of the park. Released, there we see the goal from Ollie White. As you said before, Andrew, tight angle, but, is it 5 or 6 yards out, you kind of back a player of White's ability to hit the back of the net from that sort of distance. It almost becomes, I would imagine, for Chris Brown, it's a containment sort of strategy, isn't it, this afternoon? How can we keep these, stop Miramar from...
Great ball played in, and a great finish. Well, they're back on level terms. That is superb, and it came from the midfield creativity of Jamie Carradis. And it's a brilliant run here too from Dorian Grolt. But how about the delivery, Harry? That is superb from the midfielder.
Fantastic delivery from Carradus. And what about the finish from Grolt? Just drifted in behind, I think it was Midgley. Zach Jones came for and was sort of punching thin air, I think, as well. Got nowhere near the ball. And great opportunity and great finish from Dorian Grolt.
Well, that is a little wake-up call here for Miramar. They could easily have been 2, possibly 3 goals to the good. And now they're back on level terms. And again, we just see a couple of lazy touches here at the back and in amongst their holding midfield players. But credit Selwyn. Here we are talking about them focusing on just battling away, staying in the match. And that is a beautifully crafted goal. O'Brien's pass does stay in play. Credit Barnett there just for causing a bit of a nuisance to the Selwyn defenders. Shrivers, Delholm. Again, you hear the wind just whistling through our sound effects microphones. Patience here from Miramar, but Selwyn will be more than content. And the free kick goes the way of Miramar Rangers, but Selwyn holding their shape nicely.
Yeah, that was better from Selwyn there, getting nice and tight on Owen Barnett. Yeah, look, they're quite happy just dropping off, aren't they, from the front line. They just can't give Ollie White, Sam Mason-Smith the time that they've given them so far on this left-hand side.
The Frenchman towards Barnett, but he can't control. Luke Mackay. Cosgrove, back they go. Mason-Smith applying a bit of heat, and Selwyn couldn't maintain possession. Here come Miramar again. White. And good covering work from the midfield of Selwyn. And Delholm just encouraging the referee to make the decision there. Just had the shirt tugged. Again, turned over quite cheaply. It's the accuracy in some of the passing that I think might concern Scott Hales at this stage of proceedings. Ball played across by Luke Mackay, but Zach Jones, who made 7 appearances on the bench. I say on the bench, didn't get on the park for the Wellington Phoenix, but one of the young keepers that's been brought through, along with Keegan Smith, who's on the bench today for Miramar. There's the first yellow card of the match for Cosgrove. I don't know where all these young keepers have come from, Harry, but whether it's academies or as we see the challenge there from Cosgrove, but you think of the depth we have in the All Whites at the moment with some pretty experienced campaigners. Midgley, we'll just have a look at this, see if the fullback can cause an issue or two, creates a corner. But as well as those senior players now, Danny Hay could choose any one of 3 or 4, but you've got the likes of Smith and of Jones here. There are other young keepers coming through as well.
You've got Alex Paulson too, who's just, his first year as a professional with the Phoenix, with the first team, came through their academy as well. Talked about Ollie Sale as well. He had a fantastic season last year, keeping Stefan Marinovic out of the team and forcing himself to be the number 1 for Ufuk Talay.
Nice work there from Symes just to keep possession for Miramar. But again, some of these decisions, they're Just a little impatient at times, Miramar, when playing out from the back. And again, Selwyn, when they're given the chance, they're not taking too much time to advance, if not with personnel, certainly the ball into that attacking third. Cosgrove, back to the man who set up the goal so brilliantly, Carradis. Booth. Luke Pritchard. Selwyn's turn. Just play a little bit of keep ball here. Turned over now though. And Wood. Just central for the moment there. Swapped with the Shrivers. He'll be more than comfortable with that though, Liam Wood. Made his name coming through the ranks as a central defender. Peter Tako Barima just happy to just take the sting out of the game for a moment here, and just perhaps a chance for his teammates to contemplate the fact that they're on level terms against a team that's already booked a place in the grand final against Wellington Olympic next Sunday. Mason Smith, Midgley getting forward and off his line again as Barima. Miramar are forcing Barima into kicking long. It's not by choice. Sometimes out of the prying eyes of our cameras, Miramar just pressing very high and cutting off the supply route for the keeper, and you've seen that long clearance really is just turning possession over very quickly. Eade trying to take the throw, eventually does, needed some support. Booth stepping forward to intercept. Shrivers does the same and strides forward over halfway. Taylor Shrivers pretty much now playing left wing momentarily. Symes rolls the ball here for Mason Smith. Plays to aim at towards the far post, and White is there and just lost it a little in flight. And perhaps the wind causing an issue there for Ollie White. He just could not get any power on that header.
Yeah, it almost looked like the ball got held up in the wind there. A ball from Sam Mason Smith. Yeah, just not enough pace on the cross, was there? He had to sort of generate power from basically what was a standing jump for Ollie White.
Booth. Selwyn on the counter down the left wing side. One for Murdoch to chase. He's done well to keep it in play. Jones 2 metres out from his own goal. No surprise, he just got rid of that towards halfway. Ollie White makes something of what was very nearly nothing. They're not closing the Miramar midfielder down, and he's allowed to shoot. And whilst that's relatively comfortable for Barima, they cannot allow Ollie White that amount of time and space. Nice from Cosgrove. Selwyn fullback. They are growing into this game. Topham. His attempted early cross is cut out. Space in midfield for Carradis. Somewhat scuffed the cross, but it still finds another white shirt. And a shot on goal is comfortably dealt with by Zach Jones. And after a pretty shaky opening 9 or 10 minutes, Harry, Selwyn really have settled into the match.
Yeah, that was sort of 7 or 8 good passes from Selwyn. Moved from ball from one side to the other. Nice lofted pass out this side. Good support play. And nice to finish that that passing movement with a shot on target.
Mason Smith checks back onto the right foot. Symes back to goal, looking to create room to shoot. White straight into his own teammate, I think. Let's try to direct something in towards the top corner. A little bit of keep ball between White and Delholm. Now it opens up. Mason Smith. Oh, that was an important challenge that came in there from Pritchard. Interception by Wood. And again, the space afforded these Miramar midfielders. Delholm, little 1-2, well played, straight at the keeper again though.
Yeah, they're almost retreating, aren't they, when Ollie White or Owen Barnett, particularly Ollie White on this left-hand side, or Sam Mason Smith are retrieving the ball. It's kind of retreating to the goal box and actually, as we saw earlier, making it quite tight in and around that 18-yard box where Miramar been trying to, I think, be at times just a little bit too intricate with their passing. They need to start drawing the central defenders out from Selwyn if they're looking to get in behind and pierce, you know, that defensive line a bit more.
Dewar, the instruction from the bench, you could hear it, build it, build it. In other words, play an accurate pass, don't necessarily try and play the $1 million ball. Build pressure and be patient. Delholm, it's pretty handy, inviting Midgley down to the byline and cut out at the near post by Barima. Has been busy. He's been pretty accurate in all that he's done, though, has Peter Tako Barima. Keeper to keeper. Not for the first time in the match, and you would think not for the last time. That breeze a northerly today, so it is behind Selwyn in this first half. Little nutmeg, but turning possession over initially. Get the throw though, Miramar. Is it a nutmeg, Harry, when you don't get the ball back?
No.
Doesn't count?
You got to get it on the other side, Dewey.
No press-ups?
Got to get it on the other side.
Barnett gets past his fullback. There's a little bit of a tension there that could well have drawn the free kick. Fair play to the referee. There was an obvious advantage. And now Dewar has left a foot in here, and a yellow card for the Miramar skipper. Just a little late. And referee consistent in his handing out of the yellow cards. Dorian Grolt it is, who's come off the worst for wear. So that levels it up with the yellow cards, with Oliver Cosgrove for Selwyn having also been booked in this first half of action so far. The intention was good there, but Selwyn just got very narrow when they needed to maintain their width. Shrivers for Wood. Pritchard across in front of Midgley.
Where we going? Got no left side.
White, oh that's clever, just too much on it. They are very much similar in their approach and similar in their thinking, aren't they, White? And Owen Barnett, no surprise, they're on the same page.
Yeah, Pierre Tataka, Barema too, also very sharp there off his line, reading that one very well.
Ollie White to a slip in front of him. That might open it up here for Mason Smith. Turns. Oh, what a save, Barema. What a save from the Selwyn keeper. And finally, Miramar get a shot that isn't straight down his throat, but he's up to the task.
Deliver.
Sam Mason Smith almost with his 4th of the season. Midgley. Important headed clearance there from Booth, and now Cosgrove looks for support. Finds it in Daniel Eade. But here they come again. It's just wave after wave. It really is. White. Selwyn with so many back in the area, but they continue to stand off the Miramar players, almost marking space rather than opposing players. White. Patient. Squares it across here. Symes just couldn't get a second touch. Barnett, they can't get it clear, Selwyn. Mason Smith. And still the danger there. White, the save was an awkward one for Barema that time, and he needed some help from his outfield players, but Miramar threatening again.
Yeah, well, they're standing firm, aren't they, Selwyn? Defending all hands to the pump. Barema too caught another fantastic save earlier on. And that one again pretty much straight in, but an awkward bounce just in front. It's a barrage, isn't it, the last couple of minutes from Miramar.
It's nice from Luke Mackay there just to maintain possession in the face of 2 Miramar defenders. He won't be pleased with that though, because Selwyn have turned it over very cheaply. White trying to find room for the shot. And Symes, is he onside, offside? So Nathan Symes has scored. There's not too much celebrating at the moment. Everything's very quiet here, Harry. I was almost thinking there's a flag up here somewhere, as we saw that earlier save from Barema. But Symes the quickest to react on the follow-up. And it is offside. It is. I thought everything was too quiet, Harry. So Symes himself, I think, knew that he was just in there too quickly. That one sails over Zach Jones, but it was quite a surreal moment, wasn't it?
It was, wasn't it? Did it all stop? Everyone kind of just waiting to see whether referee Ben O'Donnell was going to award that one, but clearly Nathan Symes had drifted into an offside position potentially, but game goes on.
It would certainly have been a deserved lead had Miramar been awarded the goal. They haven't. It's still 1-1. And Selwyn again down this right wing side. Liam Wood is there and dispossesses Luke Mackay, and does well to find Symes, the player who scored but didn't. Barnett outnumbered, but that won't put him off. That won't faze him at all. It's gone past 1, and then really just a little aimless in the end, playing the ball straight into one of the Selwyn defenders. Grolt looks to have recovered from, oh gosh, as soon as I say that, he was the player fouled when Dewar was booked, and he's just copped another one to the shins, I think, Harry. Might be the same leg.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it almost feels like every time Miramar do get the ball in an attacking sort of area, it's kind of as if Selwyn is sort of inviting them to come in and take them on.
Here's a chance now for Mason Smith, and again he's proving the difference so far. Barima, this time bravely off his line, shut down the angle and keeps the big Miramar striker at bay.
Another great save from the custodian for Selwyn United there. Narrowed the angle down, spread himself wide, made himself big.
Driven across, Shrivers arriving at the far post, but couldn't get the direction on the header. Plenty of power. All he needed was for that to be back towards goal, and he was a real chance. He knows it too. They love that, don't they, centre-backs? Chance to smash their way onto a corner, onto a cross like that. Mason Smith, intelligent use of the football. Delholm, they spread Selwyn from one side to the other. Barnett ignores the run of Midgley, finds Symes, no, gosh, he's had to be alert. Those 5 and 10 metre sprints, he's had a few of them, has Barima. Selwyn, if they can get to the sheds at 1-1, they'll be delighted, but moments like this, Miramar have got to be alert, because we saw the quality that led to the equalising goal. And a half chance here now for Selwyn. Try to turn, going down. Taylor Shrivers points at the football, but I'm not sure he got too much of that. Mackenzie Coe looked to go down without there being too much contact on the football, but will stay with the play. White now for Miramar. White running at his defender, gets onto the left foot, very similar spot to where he scored, pulls it back across, and it eludes his advancing teammates. Barnett's done some great scrambling there to win it back for Miramar. Dewar, the game just slows momentarily. Harry, what was your instinct on that? We've only had one look. What did you think with the penalty?
Yeah, it looked like there was something in it, didn't it, from Coe when he went down in the box. Was it Shrivers?
Shrivers was there, and
was the culprit. But
like all good centre backs, he just pointed straight at the ball.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see this one again if we can.
A couple of minutes away now from the half-time break. Well won by the Frenchman. White tried to curl that one around the defender and then inside the far post, but couldn't get past the defender. Midgley wins the throw, really almost playing as a winger is Scott Midgley, named at the back, but such has been the freedom that Miramar have had through midfield that he's really been allowed to overlap at will. 2 minutes of time to be added on, so we've got about 2.5 to play here in the first half. Mason Smith, he's covered a fair amount of territory. This time forced across that line of defenders that Selwyn is setting up on so many occasions. Symes lifts it over the defender, but Selwyn clear it away with the second line.
It's almost been their pattern, isn't it, this in the first half? Miramar players getting the ball in and around their box. They're quite happy to get 5 or 6 white shirts just basically in front of the goal and force Miramar around them.
Mitchell brings it down and almost made it dip under the bar. It may have just snuck wide regardless. He's been a real menace down that right wing side, has the Miramar number 2. White asking a lot of Nathan Symes, but he was up to the task. Selwyn again just trying to force Miramar into these central areas where it's very congregated, very congested. Grolt, Selwyn goal scorer, looking to threaten again. Final seconds now of the first half. But Miramar have largely dominated, but haven't been able to add to that 14-minute goal from Ollie White. And that's an indication that Berima is happy to turn and make the short walk to the dressing rooms and hear from Chris Brown at half-time. There is no question Selwyn will be the happier of the two sides. Grolt, Wood with a good intervention. And it is the final act of the first half. And Ollie White got Miramar away on the back of some early dominance with a 14th minute strike at the near post, thundered into the roof of the net. But Selwyn equalised. A beautiful ball from Jamie Carradis, and Dorian Grolt with a lovely touch, a glancing header to equalise. It is 1-1 here at half-time.
Selwyn United being locked together at 1-1. Ollie White opened the scoring in the 30th minute, and then in the 20th.
Frees up Halakias on the good early ball played in. Bazookas must score. Great save. The top goes Booth. Toby Hunt has to scramble from Sinclair, and it's the opening goal of the match, and that is quite brilliant from Olympic. Well, given away, and a chance here. Hunt is beaten and Selwyn have equalised, and that is a brilliant finish. A lot of touches at the start of the second half. Little 1-2 in the area, Sinclair. That's brilliant football. So, rare opportunity in the Olympic penalty area. Can they create something? They can. Great chance, and it went wide off the feet of a defender. Paul Peterson advancing. Can he pick his spot? He did, but the keeper was there, and on the follow-up, it's Gould with his second. Sinclair now operating down that right wing side, allowed to advance into the area. Shoots on goal, just wide. Taken quickly. Tries one, what a finish! What a finish for the hat-trick. Andy Cross as well, just over the top with Gunner, but into the back of the net. That is stunning.
Running off pretty quickly, Van Rysel. Oh, here's a chance. It's snuck over there for Ingham. Has it gone in? It has gone in. Hyatt Delaney has got the last touch. Gillian, here's a player open, it's Ingham. Another save by Bemmer, and gut kick has got another goal. Nice play from Gillian. Here's Van Rysel again, and Clayton has scored. It's going to be cracking games next weekend. Here's a chance for Booth, who's come forward. Lovely ball into Eade. Eade, oh, great ball. Here's a goal, and it is Fairley. Nicholas Fairley, who's gone in to score it. The 17-year-old substitutes.
In-swing or out-swing, they've got both options available to them, Miramar. It's the out-swing from White. So it's a good ball played in, and somehow Olympic survive. Marta to give Olympic the best possible start, and that's why he took the responsibility. That was a wonderful penalty. Zeb around behind them now. Real opportunity now. Zeb across the area. It goes. White slams it home and says, let's get back and get on with it quickly. Through the middle, great opportunity here for Olympic. Have they taken the lead? They have. Down to 10. Chance now for White, and they've equalised. The flag stays down, or has it gone up? Goal White, Ollie White with the hat-trick. Ollie White, that's all he needed. A little space on the edge of the penalty area. It's not all done yet. Jones keeping them in it. Now a chance and they've equalised. Oh my goodness me, Haile Mariam with the Hail Mary.
I think so. Absolutely. Just let their guard down ever so slightly.
Oh, it's not all over yet. Another goal. Oh my goodness me. 3 goals in 90 seconds. Sinclair into the area. Taken down penalty. They've been down to 10 for over an hour. Marta goes the same way, same results.
Here comes another burst here from Western Suburbs. And it's Hunt again forced to get rid of it. Clayton gets it back there from Delaney, and he's around a player. Here's Clayton, and there's a goal, and it's Western Suburbs who scored. It looks like a higher Delaney. Oh, a goal here. Oh, Ingham, brilliant work. Oh, it's well won by Sinclair, and Sinclair goes down. Is it a penalty this time? Yes.
Penalty.
Third time lucky for Wellington Olympic. He scores. Ben Marta. Clayton's got it here for Western Suburbs. And what a save there by Hunt.
What a save. What a save by Hunt.
Here's a chance for Pelezovic. Sims guides it wide. Well, Olympic coming home strong here as Rory McKeown takes the corner. It's still there. It's been cleared off the line by Ben Stroud. Sinclair with the corner, no doubt Choate and Marta are the targets. Right in the middle again, and it's Sims. And Marta, and it's McKeown who scores! Rory McKeown with a vital goal for Wellington Olympic. What a time to score the first goal in this campaign for the Irishman.
So half-time here, and a look at a match already concluded. The Wellington Phoenix finishing the season in a rush, 5-0 over Selwyn. And we know that Miramar 2-1 over Kashmir with a couple of late goals. And Olympic over Western Suburbs maintained their unbeaten run heading into next week's grand final. And round 5, there's what I'm talking about with the Phoenix Reserves, 6-0 over Suburbs, so 11-0 in their final 2 games. Kashmir Technical over Wellington Olympic, so not a good dress rehearsal for Olympic going into the grand final. And half-time here, it is Miramar 1, Selwyn United 1. Confirmation of the points table, and already Rangers and Olympic going into this round had booked their spots in the grand final. Kashmir Technical, they'll be pleased with their finish to their campaign. Likewise, the Wellington Phoenix, whilst Selwyn United, they would love to get their very first point of the season here this afternoon. So confirmation also of the results in the South Central Women's Series. Capital Football 3-0 over Southern, and Central Football with a 5-0 win over Canterbury Pride. That is live right now, so that is quite the results. In fact, it wasn't. That was confirmed. 3-2 Canterbury United over Capital Football, and Central going down to Southern United 3-1 in round 5. And Southern United, what a campaign it's been. Just the one loss, and they're on top of the table. Canterbury United a little too late in their run. And Capital Football finishing on the same points as Canterbury, but a couple of goals worse off, while Central Football really just making up the numbers in this South Central Women's Series. So half-time here, and they'll be receiving their final instructions in the dressing rooms, both sides. It's tied up here at the break at Dave Farrington Park, 1-1 between Miramar and Selwyn. So Dorian Grolt ready to get proceedings back underway. Can Selwyn continue to battle, continue to ride that luck, or can Miramar find the goals that their possession and at times territorial dominance might have deserved? Andrew Dewhurst with you alongside Harry Nata. So Shrivers and O'Brien, who were part of a defensive unit that at times just invited Selwyn into the game too easily. Here's Ollie White though, who so many touches on the ball, just beats his first defender so many times, being forced across goal though. Mason Smith has also been prominent, and that just invited a 50-50 for a teammate, and that's never good news. Through the middle here for Grolt, Dorian Grolt, and alert was Zach Jones, had to be quick off his line, and that's the threat of Selwyn on the counter-attack. A scary moment there for Miramar in the opening minute of the second half. Shrivers with the switch of play, but misdirected. Here's Adele Homel. I'll give you a little background there as to the incorrect pronunciation that I've given you through the first 45 minutes, as Symes on the edge of the area has a chance. Snapshot just wide. It just brushed the outside of the side netting. That had some power, just lacked half a metre of accuracy.
Yeah, nice work from Miramar. Nathan Symes just sizing that one up. Tight angle too. Couple of defenders in front of him. Pierre Tatako Barim has been by far the busier goalkeeper in the first 45 minutes. That one just squeezed past his post.
So an opportunity for both sides in the opening 2.5 minutes of the second half. Certainly not the first time, and it won't be the last time, Harry, that I get a pronunciation wrong, as this almost breaks here. Second half opportunity for Selwyn at the start of the second half, but I can own up to this one with Hugo Del Homel. It's a simple mistake in transcribing his name from the team sheet to my sheet, and I left the ELLE off the end, so we'll get the Frenchman right, or as accurate as we can with Hugo Del Homel. So just confirming also a substitution for Selwyn with Troy Pennyquick replacing Oliver Cosgrove. So a change at the back for Selwyn. So our sources at the ground, Harry, and this won't be a surprise, the least happy of the two coaches, Scott Hales, that players weren't following instruction, and perhaps indeed they did exactly what he was wanting his players not to do, as Grolt is upended there by Del Homel. But according to Scott Hales, his players not showing Selwyn enough respect and perhaps just cruising a little too often.
Yeah, look, and I think the way Selwyn played in that first half, particularly when Miramar had the ball and were attacking, they were quite happy to kind of just channel the white shirts in and around the box and force the likes of Ollie White or Owen Barnett, Scott Midgley down the right hand side a few times, just trying to force them wide away from the goal.
Here's Owen Barnett running through the middle of the park. So much of his work has been out wide, and now that's where they go through Mason Smith. They ask for offside. Flag doesn't go up, and scrambling as he did through most of the first half is Barima. Really kept his side in it with a couple of quite brilliant saves. It's just snuck out over the sideline, away from Sam Dewar. Here is the substitutes, Troy Pennyquick. Selwyn with a little space out wide. Liam Wood does well there, just stayed very strong, the fullback, and came away with possession. Always the art of good fullback play, Harry. Just send your winger away from goal, just send them down that channel.
You're trying to match them with pace, but also use the sideline to your advantage as well. Try and limit the space, push them wide, force them to beat you.
Shrivers with a searching pass, and Del Omel can't collect. Here's Caradis. Looking again for Dorian Grolt. He had support from Callum Murdoch on that occasion, but the cross was a little lacking. White, not so much bundled over, just tripping over the legs of Jamie Caradis, knowing that the free kick would go his way. Caradis with in excess of 150 games for the Selwyn United Stallions. He's been a real stalwart, has the Scot, since his arrival at the club. Wood. It was more Midgley getting forward down the right wing side, but Liam Wood now down the left. The fullback in support. Symes easily evades the first challenge. Wood might yet be involved. Here he is. Symes. It's patient from Miramar, but at times just not enough cut and thrust.
Yeah, as long as the ball's in front of the Selwyn defenders, it's easier to defend. It's when the players are running in behind and you're actually, defenders are turning and running towards your own goal. That's when they starts to get some, the blood pressure goes up.
He looking to release Grolt, who on the occasions I've seen him play this season has been a willing runner. He doesn't believe in a lost cause. He will continue to chase, continue to work hard for his side. Pritchard in front of Barnett and able to clear the space to make the clearance. White. Wood arriving on his left. A couple of step overs from Ollie White.
Yeah, again, Selwyn doing extremely well just to get bodies. It was Flynn O'Brien there.
He's gone over the ball here, and I think he was waiting nervously to see the colour of the card, Harry. So Flynn O'Brien, and he's gone right over the ball there, and I'm not surprised he was nervous, because that could just as easily have been a red card. He's just mistimed it. So change being made here by Scott Hales. He's seen enough, I think, in the attacking third. There's been lots of clever play, a lot of step overs, a lot of passing, but just not the direct attack on goal. And in João Moriera, you're going to get that, aren't you?
Yeah, it just hasn't been effective enough. You know, a lot of times we've seen a number of Miramar players running at the defence of Selwyn United, and Selwyn doing so well just to scramble balls away, get bodies in box, make it difficult for Miramar to play through them. They're almost inviting them to run at them, aren't they, at times?
I think this is Daniel Eade that's getting the attention it is. And it was a curious one because O'Brien seemed to be favourite to win the ball and then just seemed to get his timing all wrong and almost ignored the ball, went over the top, and Eade has come off the worse for wear. Miramar have had their share of serious injuries in their own ranks. A little fortunate there, I think, that a similar outcome didn't befall Daniel Eade for Selwyn. He slowly heads to the sideline, and there is Moreira, the Portuguese player, 35 years of age. He's been around the traps and in most of those situations, regardless of the club, regardless of the level of the game, he scores goals. White, Midgley across. I think he almost got caught between a cross and a shot there, and in the end it was fairly comfortable for Barima.
Yeah, it'll be interesting now, Andrew, if they go a bit more direct with Moreira leading the line. They definitely have that option for Moreira to push on that last defender. There is Jaden Booth or Luke Pritchard.
And again, João Moreira's got a great opportunity here. This is scrambled away by Midgley. You know, this is not a 10-minute cameo. This is an opportunity to play 35 or 40 minutes and press for a place in the grand final next week.
Yeah, I think again that you bring that factor into play too, and some of the way that some of the players are thinking. Well, are they thinking about next week already? They just sort of maybe holding themselves back, not wanting to get injured. Conserving energy potentially, I don't know, but there's definitely that comes into the mind at times as well. Particularly when we've got a grand final, or we've got a final next week.
Lovely from Midgley. Moreira, though, saw the flag and saw that it was raised. Well, we've already seen that quite a shock result with Olympic. They're already in the final. And they were dealt to 5-1 by Kashmir Technical earlier today. Jack Henry Sinclair got the Olympic goal. And for Kashmir, Taguchi with a couple. And Matheson and Coughlin the scorers. But perhaps Olympic just taking their foot off the pedal going into the grand final. And are we seeing something similar? Not necessarily on the scoreline here, but in terms of performance from Miramar.
Potentially, Andrew, because you look at the Olympic team list that took the park, and it's all pretty much their first team. You know, there was a number of players there that have played consistently for the season so far.
Eade, he scuffs it. It falls for Murdoch. Murdoch's just gone wide. What an opportunity. Off the scuffed attempt first by Daniel Eade, Callum Murdoch really with a gilt-edged opportunity here for Selwyn.
Well, great position too, just on the edge of the area, just inside the edge of the area, Callum Wilson. And he just pulled that one inches wide of Zach Jones's post.
White beats one, beats two, but they're just sort of angling him across field most of the time. Mason Smith, little back heel now, Ollie White. Mason Smith waiting for the return ball. What a challenge! That is absolutely stunning and goal-saving. That may as well have been on the goal line. Harry, I didn't get a number, but what a challenge there from the Selwyn defender. Not sure if it was Isaac Topham.
Fantastic defending, whoever it was. Andrew, I'm sure we'll see the replay, but
Luke Pritchard it was, because Mason Smith was a hot favourite there to score after brilliant build-up play, and finally for Miramar, they played accurate quick passes in the area and opened up the opportunity.
That's why, you're getting in behind players. A nice ball from Ollie White. Interchange of passing with Sam Mason Smith. And I actually thought Mason Smith could have played that one first time back into Ollie White. Ollie White could have played it first time back into Sam Mason Smith, beg your pardon, but he took a touch, and in the end it gave enough time for Luke Pritchard to get across.
Well, we've seen action in both penalty areas in the opening 15 minutes of the second half. It has been very entertaining, and Selwyn, the longer this game goes, the more confident it seems they get. Eade has support and needed to be a little more direct in the pass. Got too clever, and Liam Wood was able to cover. Moriera given all the time in the world to pick out Midgley. Midgley likewise under no real pressure into the area now. Midgley the fullback. Midgley, well, he tried to repeat the dose of Ollie White in the first half without the same result. Shoots at the near post, and I wonder if he might not have a couple of grumpy teammates who were waiting for the cross.
Well, he's had his angles down to perfection this afternoon. Pietataka Barima again denying Miramar at that near post.
Allowed to drop in the penalty area, and they needed a couple of goes at clearing it. Selwyn, have they got something on the counter-attack now? Eade, clever pass for the substitutes, Troy Pennyquick. Well, you certainly wouldn't begrudge Selwyn their first point of the campaign, for their graft, for their endeavour. White, can he create a corner? He does, much to the chagrin there of Booth, who thought that the last touch was off Ollie White. With the wind at their backs here, Miramar just lofting that one, cleared away from in front of Barima. White again can turn and run at defenders. Moriera to play it very quickly, and Barnett drives one in low, cannons off a defender. Barnett, Midgley overlapping, Moriera ignores him. And what a strike that is from João Moriera. That is stunning. And that is the impact that I'm sure Scott Hales wanted off the bench. We talked about Miramar needing to be more direct, find some cut and thrust. How good is that?
Well, that one, Pietataka Barima had no chance. Top corner from João Moriera. Super finish from the number 17.
So Selwyn won't feel they're completely without a chance here, though. They have had their chances in the second half. Good strong challenge from Murdoch. He looks to be recovered from the challenge of O'Brien, which led to a yellow card, and that one was a shaky clearance. It'll be a Selwyn throw left wing side. Topham. Pritchard, who made that last-ditch challenge to stop Sam Mason-Smith minutes ago. Is that to be to no avail as Jones collects that one? Miramar are preparing to make a couple of changes. And those changes might be made now. So Callum Murdoch has stayed down. Might be a bit of cramp for the number 9 as we see the changes. Flynn O'Brien is going to be replaced by James Marsh, wearing the number 4. And it looks also as though Owen Barnett, the number 7, is replaced by number 12, Andy Bevan. So I don't know a lot about James Marsh, Harry, but certainly Bevan for Owen Barnett is like for like, isn't it? But I would imagine that Marsh just slots back into that back 4 alongside Taylor Shrivers.
Yeah, look, with you on that one, Andrew. Straight swap for O'Brien and Marsh. Likewise, Andy Bevan, we know the sort of experience he brings to the side, the quality. You'll get 30-odd minutes, 25, 30 minutes, Andy Bevan. Some running in his legs before the final next week, potentially.
So Callum Murdoch, it looks like it's a little worse than a cramp. Perhaps a hamstring has gone. And replaced by number 11, Leah Otaki. As Selwyn turned possession back over to Miramar, given the ball was put out of play because of the injury to Murdoch. So a raft of changes there. Let's see if that affects the flow of the match at all, and takes momentum away from Miramar. They appear to be the team with the momentum at the moment. Midgley drags that one back, but he was offside. Nice touch from Grolt, and Otaki there with almost his first touch. I'm not sure he got a piece of the football. Moriera trying to find White with a delicate little touch from the Portuguese, who intervenes, didn't touch the ball, but won possession, if that makes sense. White. So just over 20 minutes to play here in this one, but a reminder of the grand final next week at Jerry Collins Stadium in Porirua. And it is a repeat of a derby that was quite spectacular, finished 4-4 in round robin play. And it will be Miramar Rangers up against Wellington Olympic. That one next Sunday at 2 o'clock. White for Mason Smith, good early ball. Moriera, has he got a double? Well, he perhaps was a little too relaxed with the finish, but let's credit the keeper, Barima, who got down to save at the feet of the Portuguese striker. Bevan now. Mason Smith in support. Del Omel, he tries one, and awkward bounce for Barima. who just bats that one away, but goodness me, João Moreira was odds on to score his second off the bench, Harry. It was a great save.
It was, wasn't it? Almost like slow motion when that ball came across the goal. You could see it exactly falling to the feet of Moreira. And Barima again saving his side with what was destined to be another goal.
Otaki does get a touch, and Booth asking for handball, and the referee obliges. Selwyn will need to show some urgency as we tick over into the final 20 minutes, and they will be hugely motivated to try and pick up their first point of the campaign. So whilst it's 2-1, they know that they're a chance, a slip at the back, but Jones is there. I'm sure one of the challenges for Chris Brown's team, he spoke pre-match about the lift in intensity and the mindset that's required to play at essentially National League level as against regional level. I'm sure fitness as well, that's been a learning curve for them, Harry. You've just got to have that extra yard of pace and that extra bit of gas in the tank, haven't you, to play at the top level here?
Yeah, look, I think you can go past the Tuesday, Thursday nights, right, Dewey? In training, it's at least 4 times a week that these National League teams are training at. Some are training at 5, every day, actually. I just live up the road from Adil's farm, and I see Wani Edwards out there at 7 o'clock some mornings with their first team training. So, training before work, after work. They are trying to be as professional as they can in this amateur environment.
Mason Smith. Bevan arrives in the area. Booth was able to block the cross. And Wood just arriving a little late on the scene. Caradus. Coe's gone down just off the ball, back on his feet now, and that invited the Frenchman in, and Caradus with a late challenge on Dewar, and there's no advantage there, and the referees decided not only the free kick but also a yellow card for Jamie Caradus. Wasn't just that he was late there was a bit of a swinging leg.
No! You're hurting White Oak State! Do it, you tell him!
Well, there's still time for Miramar to change the mood around Dave Farrington Park, and importantly the mood when they do get back on the training pitch this week. As White again down to the byline, got Bevan to aim at, just squares it right across, and Moreira had stayed back looking for the pullback. So he's threatened on so many occasions, does have the one goal, Ollie White, but that's a little bit symptomatic of his performance today. There's just not been the finish at the end of a lot of very good work. Very close.
Yeah, you have to say, too, that Selwyn have definitely scrambled at times. Barima in goal was kept them in it for a large part of this game. Just how many, what sort of gas have they got in the tank? And Selwyn, can they conjure up another goal and really put the pressure on Miramar?
Hey, come here! Hey, Mitch! Opposite 10. Good. Now just live on it then. Good.
Just a lapse of concentration from Ollie White.
Yeah, I think Ollie White's struggling, actually. I think he's picked up a knock, or he was limping just after that cross-come shot a few moments ago.
Marsh, the substitute. Here is White. As he so often does, he evades the first defender, the second. Can he get a shot on goal here, White? Is he trying to walk this in? Goodness me, he beat 3 and went back and said, I'll beat them all again.
Yeah, he's just on his haunches now. I think he is. I think he did that for his one of the first games I saw him against Western Suburbs. He did that cut right across, bit 2 or 3 players running across the face of goal, then chopped back onto his other foot and scored bottom corner.
Well, they've got a corner here. And Moriera wasn't far away at the second time of asking, and Selwyn scrambling. Here is the Portuguese striker. Shout of keeper from Berima, and he gets a good right-handed punch on that. Del Homel and White exchanging passes. Selwyn just rearranging the rear guard, and Dewar, they've just not been at their best today, Miramar, it has to be said. I mentioned that they've still got time to change the narrative during the week, but I wonder even if they were to get a third and a fourth goal here, I'm not sure that would change Scott Hale's mood too much going into the grand final.
He won't be happy at all, I think. Scott Hale's. Yeah, they're a bit sloppy in the first half with some of their passing, and you give credit to Selwyn as well. They defended with numbers at the back and really trying to limit that space in front of goal.
Here's Ollie White again, this time with space to shoot, and he goes wide. That might well be his final act of the match, because the number 15 is being held up. He looks a little disconsolate, and as you said, Harry, doesn't look to be moving 100% freely, but he will be replaced by Max Falconer. So White with the opening goal of the match back in the 14th minute, and that's a nice acknowledgement for Pieter Tako Berima as he leaves, because Berima has foiled White and Mason Smith and so many of the Miramar players so often during this match.
Centre backs come out the line. Go on, mate.
The substitute Falconer could not keep that in play.
Good work. Yep. Max, go the high line then.
Topham wasn't the worst idea, looking for a nice early delivery for Grolt to get on the end of. Pritchard does well, just gets the body in between the ball and his opponent. We've got just a little breather here whilst another Selwyn player, it would appear, has gone down with cramp. Getting some assistance from James Marsh. Nice of James to get involved, but he might have wondered where all the Selwyn players are to be in there doing the medical duties. These two might be stuck here, Harry. James Martin, look, he just wants to get away. He's what's going on here? My arm's cramping up. And that
is struggling, isn't he?
Yeah, that leg has not unlocked. And you assume from the remedial action from James Marsh that it was cramped, that it is cramped, but absolutely locked up, and he's in real pain here.
There might be a bit more to it.
Or if it's a hamstring that's cramped up, I can understand that level of discomfort, and I hope that's all it is. But if not, he just can't straighten that leg, look, because the other concern is perhaps damage to a knee. So that is the end of the shift for Isaac Topham. And Scott Mackay is out there in his place. Let's hope it was nothing more than some serious cramp. So that's looks like it's seen a bit of a switch with Pennyquick going to left back and Mackay across to right fullback. There he is on the halfway line, likely to take this throw. Inside 10 minutes to play in a match that's just started to lose its way, lose its shape, Harry. All the changes, the stoppages. Yeah. It is almost in some ways resembling a bit of a training exercise now.
I think you're absolutely right there, Andrew. I think Miramar players have definitely got one eye on the final next week. They just need to be careful. They just need to control the tempo, use the ball. Move the Selwyn players around. Their legs are going to be tired as well. Let the ball do the work.
Well, Caritas, that's turned over very quickly, but the flag is up here against Moriera. He has made a difference, though. The Portuguese striker scored one. Should have scored a second, and even in that situation there, he's putting pressure very high on the Selwyn back line, isn't he? He is an out-and-out striker. He will sit on the last player as often as he can.
There's definitely an option next week. Looking at, you got, I think, Ben Matter at the back with Olympic. Obviously, Justin Gully, Harry Choate. So, definitely some interesting matchups next week, that final.
Falconer for Midgley. Well, just explore down this left wing side now. Bevan for Moriera. Falconer. 3 substitutes involved in that piece of play, and then Dewar sends that towards Cook Strait. Otaki with some space to attack. Dewar runs him down, and lovely touch from the Frenchman. It's a physical challenge, and it took a little while for the whistle. Certainly was all in, had to have the timing bang on. Pritchard thought he did, and he's missed the football, Harry, I think.
I think he has. That ball was just out of shot, and Pritchard went flying in.
Bevan. Del Homel and Dewar, and they're really just sucking the life out of the game at times, just to try to play possession football, but it's really lacked the urgency required a week before the grand final. One for Grolt again to chase. Jones, who's been relatively quiet the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, they've really got nothing to lose, have they? Selwyn, they really, 2-1. It could be a point up for grabs here for them if they can get players forward. Miramar quite happy to contain, take the sting out of the game. So try and control the rhythm. They're conserving themselves for next week. So opportunity if Selwyn can find that extra gear potentially in the next 6 or 7 minutes.
Moriera on the end of a nice sequence of passing and then feeds it through for Midgley. Just couldn't get it directed on goal. Back off the crossbar. Falconer so close and Selwyn scramble it clear. A third goal surely kills the match off. And off his line, Barima alert to the danger. He was well beaten on that occasion, but the shot from the substitute Max Falconer just cannon back off the underside of the crossbar. Arguably, Harry, it was one of the better moves of the match, wasn't it? Because it started right at the heart of the Miramar defence. Caritas for Eade, who's taken a couple of tumbles in this match, but looks to be moving freely enough. Marsh with the clearance. Grolt looking to add a second goal, drives that one straight into the midriff of James Marsh. And just gave himself up there to Luke Mackay. Final few minutes of the 90, so Miramar understandably, albeit perhaps surprisingly, they're just looking to have the clock work in their favour, slowing proceedings down when they can. Otaki. Oh, now he's gone down. Is that an ankle problem? And Harry, whenever a player goes down on their own, I think the concern just increases a little. I wonder if he's just jammed his ankle here.
Just looked like his ankle kind of buckled and gave way.
Well, Leo Otaki here, he's almost bamboozled himself.
Looking at his knee, I think, yeah. His left knee, or
So-
right knee, sorry.
Is it the ankle that's almost got stuck and the knee's just twisted? So they might need a sub for the sub. But he felt something immediately, didn't
You
he?
could see it, couldn't you? Just how awkward that motion was.
So that's a sad end for Leo Otaki, who just looked to be providing a little energy off the bench, but he is assisted to the sideline, and Jack Walecki will replace Leo Otaki. 2-1 Miramar lead. It's their dress rehearsal, if you like, before the grand final, and whilst they might look likely to take all 3 points here with a few minutes to go, it's not been the greatest lead-in to the grand final. Our spies telling us that Scott Hales was not impressed at halftime. I don't know that his mood will have improved remarkably during the second half, and we're told 5 minutes to be added on. Oh, poor pass. And, oh, goodness, that is late. Dewa's already on a yellow, and that means red. And that is a week before the grand final. 5 minutes of time to be added on, and Sam Dewa may have just played his way out of the grand final with a red card. He's just arrived late.
Just late, wasn't he?
Dorian Grolt has been clipped a few times, and you really can't argue with that from the referee. He's already got the 1 yellow card, and Dewar just has to show a little bit of caution there and stay out of the fray.
In the 90th minute, it's just a silly challenge, isn't it?
And what it also does is present a wonderful opportunity here for Jamie Carradis. Perfectly set up for a strike on goal. Carradis, can he equalise? Around the wall, but far too close to Zach Jones.
Indicated just before that there will be additional 6 minutes.
Moriera, well, a real talking point at the end of this match that will impact on the grand final. We were just talking about Scott Hale's mood. I don't imagine that helps it, Harry.
Not when you got your captain and your number 6, your holding midfielder. Now that's definitely have to be some changes there. Does Hamel then play that number 6 role? You got Andy Bevan coming on in the second half. Potentially will start next week.
Grolt had support, but he just had eyes on goal. And they will play the final 5 or 6 minutes, of course, with a numerical advantage, Selwyn, but is it long enough for them to capitalise? Jones. Challenges still flying in from both sides. Moriera, and it's clever. Just checked out of an area of the park that was pretty heavily populated. Bevan. Selwyn have to press here. They've got to see if they can pinch possession, force Miramar into the turnover, because time is against them, just as the wind is. What have they got, Selwyn? What have the Southerners got? Have they got the energy? Have they got the wherewithal? Have they got the creativity for that one final chance to get an equaliser? Booth. One more was the call because Pennyquick was overlapping. Plays that direct into the area, and the whistle has gone. A push in the back from Taylor Shrivers. Penalty is given. Well, there is another twist in the tail. What is it about Dave Farrington Park? Late in matches, we saw it in the 4-4 draw with Olympic. And Taylor Shrivers, does he just drop the left arm into the back of Dorian Grolt?
I'd love if there was a camera angle on Scott Hales at the moment. I think that would make for some animated viewing.
Not sure if we'd want a microphone there as well, Harry. But
yeah, what a clumsy challenge from Shrivers, wasn't it? Similar to Dewar we saw a few moments ago.
And the Miramar players here just have to be careful that they don't talk themselves into further bookings, because the penalty has been awarded. There's no going back. And Jamie Carradis now in what could be the last minute of the game. It could well be the last kick of the game. Can he secure a first point for Selwyn United in the National League South Central Series? Carradis against Jones. Carradis, and he scores calmly. And they are on level terms. And in the context of their season so far and leading into the grand final, you might go so far, Harry, to say that this is pretty disastrous for Miramar.
I'm I'm sure Scott Hales, he won't be happy with this, but look, it's a black mark right through this game, isn't it, for him? Let's get this out the way, focus on next week. I think that'll be the afterwards. He'll be livid, there's no doubt about that, but they've got to switch their mindset. As soon as this whistle finishes to next week, I feel that some of the players, some of the minds have been on next week since the first whistle went this afternoon.
Well, the way matches have finished in this South Central series, just hold all bets until the final whistle is in fact blown. Mason Smith. They conceded that late penalty, didn't they, against Olympic? It was Ben Marta who stepped up and scored from the penalty spot to equalise there in a 4-4 draw. So a little history has repeated here against Selwyn. On that occasion, it was literally the last kick of the game. There might still be another minute to play here with the stoppage time in extra time. Shrivers strides forward. He gave the penalty away. Del Homel just eluded Shrivers. Remember, they're down a man, and Shrivers is well advanced here. Is there an opportunity here for Selwyn to capitalise? You would think not now, taken too long. What a story that would be for the Southerners if they can find a winner. They're just going to send this into the mixer. It's a handy ball in. Again, looking for that man, Grolt. And that is the final whistle of an entertaining and at times confusing match of football. Miramar Rangers have held on, you've got to say, in the end to a 2-2 draw with the fast-finishing Selwyn side. But the big talking point, the sending off of the skipper. So Sam Dewar won't be there come grand final time next week. And Selwyn get their first point of the campaign.
Evened it up, 1-1 at half time. 63rd minute, Joe Moreira.
So, Harry Nata, flush that one?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Get ready for the grand final.
He won't be happy. He won't be a happy camper, Scott Hales. And I know he'll be livid after this game, but it's one they've got to park now and start focusing on next week. They're going to be without their captain. They're going to have to make another change potentially. Like I said, Andy Bevan, mate, obviously is the obvious one that will come in and start. But yeah, they've got to turn their minds now, get their heads right for next week. But
well done, Chris Brown and the Selwyn United team. They picked up a point at the very last opportunity in this South Central series, and they scrambled, they fought, they scrapped as they have all season long. And this one finishes here at Dave Farrington Park, 2-2 between Miramar Rangers and Selwyn United.